In 1956, the world was captivated by the iconic image of Anita Ekberg wading through Rome's Trevi Fountain in the film La Dolce Vita. But what if I told you that the fountain wasn't the only thing she dipped into during her time in Italy? A secret affair so clandestine that it remained buried for decades reveals a side of Anita Ekberg that even the most ardent fans wouldn't recognize. Stay tuned as we unravel the untold stories of Anita Ekberg's love life, one shocking revelation at a time. The Swedish siren takes Hollywood. Born in 1931 in Malmö, Sweden, Anita Ekberg was destined to become more than just another pretty face. She won the Miss Sweden title in 1950, a victory that propelled her into the international spotlight and led her straight to Hollywood. But it wasn't just her beauty that captivated the film industry, it was her undeniable charisma and the mysterious aura she carried with her. Anita Ekberg's arrival in Hollywood was like a storm that no one saw coming. She signed a contract with Universal Studios, and although her early roles were minor, they were enough to make everyone take notice. Directors and producers were enamored by her, not just for her stunning looks, but also for her ability to bring a unique depth to her characters. She was the epitome of the European exoticism that Hollywood was so keen to portray, a perfect blend of sensuality and sophistication. Her breakthrough came with the 1955 film Artists and Models, where she starred alongside Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. The film was a hit, and suddenly Anita Ekberg was a household name. But while her career was taking off, her personal life was also becoming a subject of fascination. She was linked to some of the most eligible bachelors in Hollywood, and her love life became as talked about as her film roles. However, what many didn't know was that Anita had a secret, a hidden chapter in her love life that she kept carefully guarded. A secret so shocking that it could have easily overshadowed her rising career. And we're about to delve into that, but not before we explore the love affairs that had the world talking. Publicity. Desperate to keep the peace, they arranged for a secret meeting between the three stars. In a dimly lit room, away from the prying eyes of the press, they laid their cards on the table. The leading man was given an ultimatum: choose between his co-star and Anita. In a shocking turn of events, he chose his longtime lover, ending his affair with Ekberg. The decision sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and the press had a field day speculating about the reasons behind the split. Anita, ever the professional, chose to remain silent on the matter, letting her work speak for itself. The film was eventually released to critical acclaim, but the love triangle left an indelible mark on all those involved. Anita continued to dazzle audiences with her performances, but those close to her noticed a change. She became more selective in her roles and even more guarded in her personal life. The love triangle had taken its toll, and she was no longer the carefree spirit that Hollywood had fallen in love with. The love affairs that shocked the world. Anita Ekberg's love life was as dazzling as her on-screen presence, filled with whirlwind romances that often made headlines. One of the most talked-about relationships was with British actor Anthony Steele. The two met on the set of Zarek in 1956 and quickly became inseparable. Their love story was the stuff of tabloids, complete with passionate love letters and secret rendezvous. However, it wasn't all roses. The relationship faced immense scrutiny, and the couple's tumultuous marriage ended in divorce in 1959, just 3 years after they had tied the knot. But that wasn't the end of Anita's romantic escapades. She was linked to Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, including Frank Sinatra. Sinatra, known for his own series of high-profile relationships, was utterly captivated by Anita. They were spotted at numerous Hollywood parties and events, and rumors swirled about a possible engagement. However, the relationship fizzled out as quickly as it had started, leaving the public wondering what could have been. Then there was her rumored affair with Errol Flynn, the swashbuckling actor known for his roles in films like Robin Hood. Flynn was notorious for his womanizing ways, and when he set his sights on Anita, the gossip columns had a field day. The two were seen dining at the most exclusive restaurants and vacationing in exotic locales. Yet, despite the media frenzy, the relationship was short-lived, and both stars moved on to other high-profile romances. But hold on, what if I told you that one of Anita's love affairs had the potential to cause an international scandal? Stay tuned, because what comes next will leave you speechless. The secret romances. While the public was enamored with Anita Ekberg's high-profile relationships, there were other romances she skillfully kept away from the limelight. One such affair was with a European aristocrat, a man who was as enigmatic as he was wealthy. The two met at a private party in Rome in the early 1960s and were instantly drawn to each other. Despite the aristocrat being married, they embarked on a secret relationship that lasted for several months. They would meet in secluded villas, away from the prying eyes of the paparazzi, and even took a secret trip to the French Riviera. The affair was so well hidden that not a single photograph exists to prove it ever occurred. Another hidden romance was with a renowned film director during the filming of a movie that would later become a cult classic. The director was captivated not just by Anita's beauty, but also by her depth and intelligence. He even rewrote parts of the script to give her a more significant role. However, the relationship was kept strictly confidential due to the director's own complicated personal life. They communicated through letters and secret phone calls, avoiding any public appearances together. When the film was released, it was a hit, but no one suspected the off-screen chemistry that had contributed to its success. And then there was her liaison with a famous musician, a man known for his soulful tunes and rebellious lifestyle. They met at a music festival, and their chemistry was electric. For months they carried on a passionate but hidden affair, meeting in various cities while he was on tour. The musician even wrote a song inspired by Anita, a ballad that would later become one of his greatest hits. However, the relationship ended as quietly as it had begun, leaving both with bittersweet memories. The marriage that almost wasn't. In the mid-1960s, Anita Ekberg found herself entangled in a relationship that was unlike any other she had experienced. She met an influential businessman at a charity event in New York, and the connection was instantaneous. The businessman, already a well-known figure in high society, was captivated by Anita's charm and beauty. Within weeks, they were inseparable, and rumors began to circulate that wedding bells were on the horizon. The businessman was so smitten that he began to make plans for a life together, even going so far as to purchase a secluded estate where they could escape the pressures of fame. Anita, too, seemed ready to settle down, tired of the relentless scrutiny that came with her high-profile romances. Friends and family were already discussing wedding plans, and it seemed like a fairy tale ending was within reach. However, as the wedding date approached, tensions began to rise. Anita started to have second thoughts, questioning whether she was ready to give up her independence and the lifestyle she had grown accustomed to. The businessman, sensing her hesitation, became increasingly controlling, further fueling Anita's doubts. The relationship reached a breaking point when a scandal erupted involving the businessman's company, casting a shadow over their plans and forcing them to confront the reality of their situation. The wedding was called off and the estate was sold. Both went their separate ways, nursing broken hearts but also a sense of relief. Though they never spoke publicly about their relationship or why it ended, those close to Anita say it was a turning point in her life. It was the closest she ever came to walking down the aisle, and it left her with a sense of what could have been. Yet the experience also made her more cautious in love, forever shaping her future relationships. Up next, we delve into a love triangle so scandalous it rocked Hollywood to its core. Who were the other 2 points of this tumultuous triangle, and how did it impact Anita's life and career? Stay tuned to find out. The love triangle that rocked Hollywood. In the late 1950s, Hollywood was abuzz with rumors of a love triangle so scandalous it threatened to overshadow the careers of everyone involved. At the center of it all was Anita Ekberg, already a household name and a symbol of glamour and sensuality. The other 2 points of this tumultuous triangle were a leading man known for his rugged good looks and a rising starlet who was just beginning to make her mark in the industry. The leading man, a heartthrob with a reputation for being a ladies' man, was already in a relationship with the starlet when he met Anita on the set of a film. The chemistry between them was undeniable. Soon they were spotted at various Hollywood hotspots, and whispers of an affair began to circulate. The starlet, feeling threatened and humiliated, confronted Anita in a heated exchange that was the talk of Tinseltown for weeks. The confrontation led to a temporary cooling off between Anita and the leading man, but the damage was done. The love triangle became the subject of tabloid headlines, putting immense pressure on all three individuals. Anita, for her part, tried to distance herself from the scandal. She focused on her work, taking on roles that showcased her talent rather than her beauty. But the love triangle had a lasting impact on her career and personal life. It led to a falling out with the starlet, who never forgave her for what she saw as a betrayal. The leading man eventually married someone else, leaving both women to ponder what might have been. The love triangle also had a ripple effect on Hollywood, leading to a reevaluation of the roles women were offered and the way relationships were portrayed in the media. It was a defining moment in Anita's life, one that she would look back on with a mixture of regret and wistfulness. The younger men who couldn't resist her. Anita Ekberg's allure wasn't just confined to men her age or older. She also had a magnetic pull on younger men. One of the most talked about relationships was with actor Audie Murphy. Known for his heroics in World War II and later for his acting, Murphy was smitten with Ekberg. They met on the set of the 1955 film To Hell and Back, where the chemistry was instant. Murphy, 9 years her junior, was captivated by her beauty and charisma. The relationship was the talk of Hollywood, making headlines and stirring gossip. However, the age difference and Murphy's complicated past eventually led to their separation. Another younger man who found himself under Ekberg's spell was Alain Delon, the French heartthrob. They met in the late 1950s when Ekberg was already a well-established star, and Delon was just beginning to make a name for himself. Despite the age gap and the language barrier, Ekberg spoke little French and Delon's English was not fluent. The two embarked on a passionate affair. They were often seen at glamorous events, and the paparazzi couldn't get enough of them. The relationship was intense but short-lived. Delon's rising career and Ekberg's other engagements eventually led them to part ways. But perhaps the most intriguing of her relationships with younger men was with a non-celebrity, a businessman from Rome. They met during one of her trips to Italy in the early 1960s. He was in his late 20s, a decade younger than Ekberg. Unlike her relationships with Murphy and Delon, this one was kept far from the public eye. It was a deeply personal and private affair, one that Ekberg treasured for its normalcy away from the Hollywood spotlight. They were together for a couple of years before they mutually decided to go their separate ways, cherishing the time they had spent together. What's fascinating is that each of these relationships with younger men seemed to offer Ekberg something different, a sense of adventure with Murphy, passion with Delon, and a semblance of normalcy with the Roman businessman. But as captivating as these affairs were, none could hold her for long. Why? Well, the answer might surprise you, and it has to do with a relationship that could have changed her life, but didn't. Stay tuned. The One Who Got Away. In the midst of her whirlwind romances and affairs, there was one relationship that stood out from the rest, a relationship that could have significantly altered the course of Anita Ekberg's life. His name was Robert Wagner, a rising star in Hollywood during the late 1950s. They met at a Hollywood party, and the attraction was immediate. Wagner was captivated by Ekberg's beauty and charm, while she was drawn to his charisma and wit. For a brief moment, it seemed like Ekberg had found her match. The relationship progressed quickly, and there were even talks of marriage. Wagner was unlike any of the men Ekberg had been with. He was grounded, focused, and seemed to offer her the stability that had been missing from her life. They were often seen together at high-profile events, and it was clear that they were deeply in love. Friends and family thought this was it. Ekberg had found the one. However, destiny had other plans. Just when it seemed like they were about to take the next big step, Wagner's career took off in a big way. He landed a role in a major film, and suddenly his schedule became too hectic for a serious relationship. The distance and time apart began to strain their relationship, and despite their best efforts to make it work, they eventually decided to part ways. The breakup was amicable, but it left a lasting impact on Ekberg. She never spoke ill of Wagner, and always referred to him as the one who got away. For years, people speculated about what could have been if they had stayed together. Could he have been the stabilizing force in her tumultuous love life? We'll never know. If you enjoyed this video, check out the next one in this series.